All right, welcome back. If you are joining me, and if you've been here before, if you haven't been here before, I'm Chelsea. If you have, welcome back. We are going to work on just a gentle practice today, kind of trying to set up for feeling a little more relaxed heading into the weekend. So last week we focused on compassion and self-love, and so today we're going to expand that out to others, and hopefully we'll feel a little more love that we can send out into the universe and into the world here, to give ourselves that peace that we all really need right now. So let's start on our backs. So go ahead and lay down comfortably on your back, and then we're going to bring your feet a little wider than hips distance apart, and bring your knees to touch. So just kind of resting your knees on each other, just to allow your legs to be relaxed in this position. So your feet are out wide and your knees are resting in on each other. And then just bring your hands to your low belly to start and begin to tune into your breath. Notice how your breath feels today. Is it choppy or smooth? Does it feel short? Are you able to take a deep breath into your belly? Notice if there's any areas of tension in your body that your breath might be getting stuck. Try not to judge, just notice. And as you breathe, bring the breath deeper into your belly. So expanding the belly, lengthening the inhale, lengthening the exhale. Notice that the more you breathe, the more your body can relax into the floor, and allow the floor to hold you today. Feel your bones sink into the floor. Just gotta turn my music down so it doesn't feel like I'm competing with it. And while you're breathing, sometimes people will set an intention for your practice. So if that's something that you like to do, if there's a person or a place or a thing or a feeling that's on your heart today, you can set that as your intention, just to focus on while you're practicing. Just a couple more breaths here. So inhale, nice and slow and gentle. Exhale and sink into the floor. And after your next exhale, bring your hands to the sides of you. And what we're going to do is just inhale the right arm up so the fingertips are facing the ceiling. And then exhale and bring the back of the hand over your head. So if your hand doesn't quite make it to the floor, that's okay. Just kind of moving in that direction at least. Inhale the hand back up. Exhale back to the floor, and then repeat on the left hand. So inhale the left hand up. Exhale the back of the hand to the floor behind your head. Inhale the hand up and exhale back down. And then take both hands up together and exhale them back down to the floor. Notice if one of the hands reaches the floor sooner. Maybe that shoulder is not as tight as the other shoulder, or maybe they both reach the floor at the same time. Just notice. Keep breathing. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale back down. And then inhale them up together. And here we're going to cross the arms over so that the hands are reaching on opposite elbows. So hold your opposite elbow with your hands. Inhale and exhale the arms over to the right. Inhale and exhale here. Inhale the arms back up over the chest. Exhale back to the left. Feel the opening in the shoulder here, the right shoulder. Inhale back up above the chest. This time we're going to bring the arms up to either the forehead or above the head. So whatever's more comfortable for you. If your shoulders are tight today, maybe you just leave your arms right on the forehead. That's perfectly fine. If you feel a little more range of motion, you can bring them to the crown of your head or maybe to the floor behind you. Really opening up here. Trying not to bow out the ribs too much, but keeping contact with the floor still. Inhale the arms above the chest again, and then we're going to switch sides. So the other arm is in front this time, and we're holding on to opposite elbows again. Inhale, exhale the arms to the right. Inhale back up to the chest. Exhale to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, and again to the forehead, the crown of the head, or maybe the floor behind you. Really opening up the front of the shoulders here, the side waist. Inhale back up above the chest and release the arms back down to the sides. Take a moment here. And then bring your feet together. Bring the right arm or the right leg into the chest and hug that knee in. Feel the stretch in the back of the glute here. And then take the left leg out straight, and then bring the left hand to the right knee and bring it over to the left. Just a slight twist to the left here. Just right over the midline. We're not pulling the leg all the way over to the left. And then bring it back to center and release it back down. Bend the left knee again. Bring the left knee into the chest and hug it in. Lengthen the right leg here. Bring the left knee into the right hand and bring it over to the right. Again, just over the midline, not all the way. Should feel a nice stretch in the hip here, just warming up these areas of our body. Back to center, release the foot back down. And then go ahead and bring both legs long. And we did this last week at the end, I believe, so we're going to do it at the beginning this time. With your legs long, bring your arms up overhead, full body stretch here. So reaching out with
the heels, reaching out with the fingertips, and then walk the feet towards the left. So essentially you're leaving your hips where they are and just walking your feet. So your legs are in a curve. And then walking your hands also to the left, creating a C shape with your body. So sometimes we call this banana pose. Reaching out with the right hand above your head and reaching out with the right foot through the heel here. Creating a nice curve, stretching out that right side of the body. Inhale, bring the arms and legs back to center, and then repeat on the other side. So walking the feet over to the right, and walking the hands over to the right, reaching out with the left hand and the left foot. Really reaching here. Nice side stretch. Inhale, bring arms back to center, bring legs back to center. Bend the knees, arms back down to the sides. Bring both knees into the chest and roll the knees over to the left here. So this is a pretty big twist. If it feels like too much, you don't have to go all the way to the floor. Maybe you can put if you have a block or a blanket or pillow or something, you can put underneath your knees here to support them. Otherwise, just allow gravity to lower your knees towards the floor. Inhale, bring the knees back up. Exhale and roll them over to the right. Inhale, back to center. Bring your feet back down and then just roll over to one side. It doesn't matter which side. Stay there for one breath. We're going to make our way up to seated here. So we don't want to jump up too fast. And then when you're ready, push into your hand to come all the way up to seated. Take a moment here. We'll just do a couple things here before we go into our table. So hands out to the sides, fingertips to the floor, palms facing up, reach all the way up overhead, stretch. Prayer hands, bring them all the way down to your chest. Breathe. Turn your fingertips away from the body and push out here, away from the chest, curving the upper back, lowering the chin just slightly. And then inhale, opening up here, opening up the chest, lifting the chin. Exhale, hands together in front of you again. And inhale the hands back together. Hands back down to the sides. Inhale up, reaching all the way up, lengthening, and then exhale, bring the hands behind you and open up here in the front. So fingertips can be facing away from you. Just lifting the chin, gazing upward, imagining that you're on a warm, sunny beach, soaking in that warm sun, and maybe you are somewhere warm, but I'm not. Good, and then bring the hands in front of you and walk them in front of you. So this is our first forward fold here before we're standing. Just walk them out in front of you as much as is comfortable. You don't have to overdo here. Inhale and exhale. And then walk the hands back in. Lean back slightly, just untuck and retuck the feet so the other leg is in front this time. Inhale up,
reach, and then exhale the hands behind you, fingertips away from the body. Again, opening up here. And then bringing the hands in front of you and walking forward one more time. Inhale and walk the hands back in. And then we're going to come into table pose. So swing your legs back. The knees should be under the hips here. The feet are directly behind the knees. Hands are directly under the shoulders. We're forming a table here. So we're going to do a little cat-cow. So just starting with melting the chest towards the floor, arching the back just slightly. And then exhale, empty the belly, stretching out in between the shoulder blades here, pushing the floor away from you with your hands into cow or cat pose. Inhale, back to cow pose. Follow your rhythm of your own breath. Pay attention to your inhale and exhale. Empty the belly, look down towards the knees. Inhale, melting the chest towards the floor. And exhale. And then come back to neutral. We're going to do a balanced table here. So leaving your hands where they are. Reach the right foot back. So the ball of the foot should still be on the floor. And just really push out through your right heel. So you're stretching that back of the leg, the hamstring, the calf, the back of the thigh. And you can either move back and forth with your heel or you can just stay still here, but just really feel the length and the stretch through your heel here. Inhale and lift the toes off the ground. Leg is parallel with the ground. Bring your weight into your right hand and reach out with your left hand here. Pick a focal point in front of you for balance, something that's not moving when you're in these balance poses. Release the left hand to the ground, release the right knee. Left knee straightens, reaching out with the left heel. Ball of the foot is still on the floor, so just stretching out that back of that leg. And again, you don't have to move back and forth. I always do because it just feels good. But you can certainly just remain still here as well. And just really energetically pushing out through the left heel here. And then find your focal point for balance. Lift the toes. Leg is straight, parallel with the ground here. And then bring the weight into your left hand and reach out with the right hand. Stay focused. Inhale and exhale. Release the right hand to the ground. Release the left leg down. Bring your big toes to touch here. And just draw your hips back towards your heels. And reach the hands forward. So child's pose is a great place to rest anytime during the practice. Bringing your head to the floor really gives your nervous system a fresh start. If you can do this anytime during your day. Maybe roll your forehead back and forth, massage out your forehead here. Come back into table, and then we're going to do something called thread the needle. So bring your left hand in front of your face, so kind of to the middle here, and then turn your fingertips on your left hand towards your right hand,
and bring your right hand underneath your left arm. So we're coming into a twist. So you're drawing your right hand out to your left and then laying your right cheek on your left hand. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're creating a twist here with our upper back, which can feel really good, or it might be, a little too much. If it's too much, just back off a little bit. If you'd like to go further, you can push into your left hand to twist even more. Inhale, push into the left hand to come all the way up, and then repeat on the other side. So bring the right hand in between, or in the middle here. Turn your right fingertips towards your left, and then reach your left hand through underneath your right hand, or your right arm. Again, if you want to go further, you can push into your right hand to twist even more. Go ahead and come out. Hands back to parallel. Bring them just a hand or two length in front of you. Tuck your toes under. And then we're going to come up into our first downward dog. Keep your knees bent to start. And just bring your chest towards your thighs. Hips up towards the sky. Think about drawing your heels toward the floor. It's okay if they don't touch the floor. Inhale and exhale here. And maybe start to try to straighten your legs just a little bit more. So sometimes you can move your feet back and forth, bending one knee, straightening the other, back and forth. And again, if your knees never completely straighten, that's okay. But the idea is to energetically pull draw your heels toward the floor so that your legs are straightening just slightly. Bring your head to gaze towards your hands, in between your hands, and then slowly work your way up towards your hands with your feet. So you can walk, you can step forward, whatever's best for you in this moment, and then just standing forward bend. So fold forward, release the head towards the ground. You can keep a nice bend in the hamstrings and in the knees here. The idea is to really relax your upper body into this pose. So really try to release any tension that you might be holding on to. Let it drain out of the top of your head and into your fingertips. Maybe even shake your head no here. Nod your head yes. Just really letting go of your neck. And then when you're ready, begin to draw yourself up all the way into standing, into mountain pose. So our first mountain pose, we're going to move our feet just back and forth a little bit. Try to find the midpoint of your feet here. So maybe rock back and forth from your heels to your toes. Imagine the inner leg line drawing up, the outer leg line pushing down, rooting into the ground here. We're going to just really draw on the strength and stability of mountain pose. So bringing the navel to the spine, drawing the shoulders up and back, fingertips pointing towards the floor, chin just slightly up. Imagining the majesty of a mountain and stability.
Inhale the hands all the way up. Reach up, maybe gazing upward. Upward hand pose here. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale and fold forward. Inhale, hands up the shins into a half lift here. Neck and spine are straight, parallel with the floor. Exhale, release back down, and then step back to downward facing dog. Maybe this time your knees are a little straighter. Maybe you've warmed up a little bit. Just notice. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll come to a plank. So maybe bring your knees down for this first plank. Bring your chest forward. And we're going to come to knees, chest, and chin. So bending the elbows, lower the chest and the chin together. Keeping the hips high up in the sky. And then release the hips down. Untuck the toes. Release all the way to the floor. And then bringing the navel to the spine, lift at the shoulders here. Just the head, neck, and shoulders lift up into low cobra. Exhale back down. And we're going to stay here for a moment. So maybe just bring your hands in front of you and pillow them. And then lower your forehead to the floor. And just breathe here. So notice the floor creates a nice point of contact for your breath. So you can really focus on filling the belly and feel that the belly is expanding against the floor here. And as you exhale, you can feel the body really sinking in. So just like when we were on our back and we did that, it's kind of interesting to feel when you're on your belly as well. One more breath here. And then lift the head and bring the hands back to the low ribs. And try to lift your chest and your belly all at the same time into your table pose. And then we'll come back up to downward facing dog again. This time, bring your right foot in between your hands. So keeping the left foot back, right knee bent, right foot between your hands. And if it doesn't make it all the way up, just reach back with your right hand and pull it forward. And then lower the left knee, keeping your hands framing your right foot. Kind of lift up on your fingertips here to allow some more space. But maybe just allow that right thigh to kind of massage the inner organs here in the belly. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to your right leg and lift up, feeling a nice stretch in the left thigh here and left hip. You can stay here if you want. If you want to go a little further, you can release your hands and lift all the way up overhead. Maybe gaze upward. Maybe lifting from the back of the heart. Gaze forward again and release the hands to frame the foot. And then walk the feet forward. Come into standing forward bend. Half lift, so hands up the shins. Straight back, parallel with the floor.
Crown of the head pointing forward. Release back down to standing forward bend. And before we rise up to mountain pose, we're going to go into powerful pose. So bring your hands to your hips, bend the knees even more, really sink down here. So the thighs are as parallel with the floor as you can get. Knees are bent. I'm going to move back just slightly because I'm close to the wall. So sink the hips down towards the floor. Bring your hands to your hips. And maybe stay here if this is enough for you. If you have any low back issues or if it's bothering you at all, stay here. If you want to go further, you can release the hands and bring them forward into powerful pose. So hands are reaching, arms are straight and strong, gaze is forward. Release, inhale the hands all the way up and reach up into mountain pose. Palms to touch. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Check in with your breath. And then lower all the way back down to standing forward bend again. Hands flat to the floor, step back to downward dog. Look up towards your hands, and then this time only the left foot comes forward. And again, if you need to reach back and bring it forward with your hand, that's perfectly fine. Release the right knee down, point the right toes, come up on your fingertips here. And again, allowing that left thigh to massage the internal organs here in the belly. Lifting with the chest. Bring the hands to the left knee. And again, release the hands, bring them all the way up if you feel comfortable, if your back is allowing it today. Maybe gazing upward, lift from the back of the heart, reaching up. Exhale, bring the hands back down. To untuck the toes, lift the right knee up and bring the left foot back again. And then we're coming into a plank. Feel free to lower your knees if you're more comfortable that way. Otherwise, you can come into a full plank. Pushing up, straight and strong. And then lowering down to your belly, however it's comfortable. Untuck the toes. And we're going to lift up again. You can lift up into low cobra. Maybe you come into Sphinx pose. Bring your hands out in front of you, elbows underneath the shoulders, lifting the chest and the neck here, and looking out in front of you. So this is Sphinx pose. And if you're in Sphinx pose, let's also try to look over the right shoulder towards the right foot here. Giving yourself another gentle twist. Inhale, bring the head back to center. Exhale, looking over the left. Inhale, back to center. Lower back down to your belly. Hands to the sides of your ribs, and then lift up chest, belly, and thighs. And then back into downward facing dog again. Inhale, looking up between your hands, walking forward or stepping forward into standing forward bend. Shaking your head no again, nodding yes. Really releasing the tension. Maybe you can cross your elbows like we did when we were on our back and just kind of allow your body to hang here. Really letting go of any tension you're holding. Any worries or doubts, anger, frustration. Just let it drain out of the top of your head into the floor. Release the hands again. Inhale all the way up. Palms to touch. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. All right, release the hands. We're going to come into Warrior One today. Let me just move my mat here. So keeping your right foot forward, bring your left foot behind you, and you're kind of having your left foot at an angle, I guess like at 10 o'clock basically. Your heel can be directly behind your other heel, or the arch of your foot can be directly behind your heel. Whatever feels best for your hips. So your hips are going to be as square to the front of your mat as you can. If it feels too hard, you can always bring that left foot out even further towards the long edge of your mat. So we're going to bend into the right leg here. Coming into a Warrior One. So reaching the hands up and overhead. Warrior poses, you want to keep your hands really nice and straight, powerful, reaching with the fingers, imagining the strength and power of the warrior here. Release the hands, exhale, release the hands behind you. And clasp your fingers so that you're opening up your shoulders here. So lifting your chin just slightly. Hands behind you. Reaching. And maybe if you are comfortable, you can fold over your thigh here, your right thigh, and bring your hands up behind you. So this is a variation of a humble warrior pose. So hands are up and back. Head is coming down towards your shin. Release the hands to the low back. Lift all the way back up. Release the hands down. And then hands frame the right foot. Pivot on the left foot and reach back into downward dog again. This time bring your left foot forward again, just like we did with the lunge. And we're coming into a Warrior One on this side. So keeping the left knee bent. Come all the way up. Hands to the hips to start while you get your feet situated. And again, you can bring your right foot out further towards the long edge of the mat if that's more comfortable for your hips. Bending into the left knee here. And then reaching the arms up and overhead. Lengthening the spine. Feeling the strength, power of warrior. Inhale and exhale, bring the hands behind you. Clasp the fingers and draw your shoulders open. Hopefully you can see me all right. Inhale, exhale, fold forward, so bringing the body over the left thigh and reaching the arms up and overhead, or the hands, I guess. Head down towards the shin. Release the hands to the low back. Come all the way up. And then frame the foot. Pivot on the right foot and then bring the feet back parallel into downward facing dog. Walk the feet forward into standing forward bend. Release the head down, relax into the pose. Inhale, half lift into hands to the shins. Exhale, back down. Inhale all the way up to mountain pose. Prayer hands and bring them all the way down to your chest. Take a moment to reconnect to your intention here. Open the eyes, and we're going to work our way back down to the floor. So just come to seated, not in any fancy way here. And we'll do just a modified boat pose. So if you're familiar with boat, we did this last week too. So feet are flat on the floor, knees are bent. And you can hold behind your thighs or your knees. Probably be more comfortable if you hold underneath your thighs here. And just begin to sort of roll back onto your sacrum, low back area, and then straighten your right leg as best you can. Again, keeping a bend in the knee if that's more comfortable for you. And then release down to the floor. And then bring the left foot forward and up. Release down to the floor again. If you feel comfortable, you can straighten both legs at the same time. And even further, if you want to release the hands, you can bring your hands out to the sides. Otherwise, you can also keep holding on to the back of your thighs. Release the right foot down, release the left foot down. We're going to roll down to our backs. So slowly, one vertebra at a time, lower down to your back. Bring one hand to your low belly, and then let's try one hand on your heart. And reconnect to your breath again here. So you'll notice that I do that a lot. I think it's important that we keep track of our breath, because even when we're exerting ourselves and doing more and more poses, sometimes we can lose track of our conscious breathing, which is such a key in yoga. So notice as you breathe, you can feel your left hand, or your right hand, I guess, can be your hand that's on the belly. You can feel rising up with the breath as your belly inflates on the inhale, expands, and then on the exhale you can feel your hands gently drop, emptying and softening. So notice your breath in a circular motion between your two hands, the hand that's on your belly and the hand that's on your chest. One more breath here. And then release the hands to the sides. Bring your right knee into your chest again, hug it in. And then release the right ankle to the left knee and hug the left knee into the chest. So you should feel a nice stretch along the right glute here, the right hip, and maybe even on the left side as well. Keep the right knee or the right foot active and flexed. Maybe if you want to go a step further, just bringing the left knee towards the left side, so opening up a little bit more even on the right here. Come back to center. Release the left foot down and release the right foot. Hug the left knee into the chest. And then bring the left ankle to the right knee and hug the right knee in again. You might notice that this might be a little more intense. It might hurt. If it hurts too much when you're doing this, just back off a little bit. So you don't want to pull too hard with the right thigh. And again, just rock slightly over to the right here. Open up on the left thigh, the left hip. And then come back to center, release the right foot down, uncross the left ankle. Shift your hips over to the right and then lower your knees to the left here. So coming into a twist. Inhale, bring the knees back up. Come back to center with your hips. And then lift the hips and bring them over to your left and drop the knees to the right. Keep breathing. Notice if there's any areas that are still holding on to tension. Try to give some breath to that area. Inhale the knees back up. Bring the hips back to center. And then roll over to your left side to start. Bring your knees up to a 90-degree angle with your hips. And then bring your hands out in front of your shoulders, also at a 90-degree angle. And then as your hands are stacked in front of you, which you probably can't see me on my camera, inhale the right hand up, exhale and bring it back to the floor behind you. So don't have the best space for this, but the hand should be flat on the floor behind you. So you're really opening up the chest here, bringing the shoulder blades together behind you. Knees are together. Inhale, bring the hand back up and then back together in front of you. Bend the elbows and roll back over to the right. So again, your knees are at a 90-degree angle with your hips. Your hands are on top of each other in front of your shoulders. Inhale the left hand up and behind, exhale behind you. So the left hand is, the back of the hand is on the floor or towards the floor. Inhale the hand back up, exhale back in front of you, bend the elbows and roll to your back again. All right, so the feet are hips distance apart. Hands are palms facing down along your sides. We're going to come into a bridge pose here. So root the feet into the floor and slowly begin to draw your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing in bridge pose. And slowly roll back down. And then bring both knees in, hug them into your chest. Maybe rock back and forth. Massage out the low back. Maybe circle the knees together. Reverse that circle. And then if you have any other pose that you like to do at the end of your practice, feel free to do that now. We're going to set up for Shavasana. So whatever pose would be comfortable for you. You can just lay flat if you want, legs long, and just allow yourself to settle in. Maybe you want to put your socks back on or cover up with a blanket or put a sweatshirt on. Get yourself comfortable for Shavasana, the final resting pose. We always tell people that Shavasana is the most important pose, even though you're just laying there. This is your opportunity to really enjoy the fruits of your practice and really just allow yourself to, yoga was developed as a means to work your body out to a point of being able to relax, and for meditation and for practicing some stillness. So once you work your body out, then this is your opportunity to really just enjoy some stillness for at least a short amount of time. So begin to just allow your body to settle in. Feel your feet relaxing into the floor, your legs and your hips and your low back. Your whole body is just resting into the floor. Allow the floor to really hold you. Let any residual tension just drain into the floor. Maybe into the floor and out into the ground, through the layers of the earth. Just let it go. I wanted to practice a visualization during your Shavasana today. One of my very favorite places in the world is a river in Oregon that I used to live near, and the water rushes all the time. It's constantly moving, and it's never still. And one of my favorite meditations is imagining that the water of the river is basically my mind, and remembering that the thoughts that come into our mind can freely flow right back out, just like the river. The river has rocks in it, boulders, sticks and logs and branches, even people, different animals. There's all kinds of obstacles in the water, but it doesn't stop the water from flowing. So we can have troubling thoughts, we can have intrusive thoughts, we can have things that we are uncomfortable with, but we can also let them go from our mind. Just because something comes into our mind doesn't mean that we have to give it weight. So for the next minute practice, you may be thinking about what you're going to have for lunch next. You may be thinking about what you're going to be doing at work next. Try to drop it into the river, whatever those thoughts are.
Drop them into the river and let them flow. Watch the water flow. Watch the thought go with the water. Close the door. Begin to deepen your breath here. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Come back into the room. Maybe reach your hands above you for a gentle full body stretch. When you're ready, roll to your side. Slowly make your way back into seated. Bring your hands to your sides. Palms facing up. Inhale the hands up. Palms touch. Exhale the hands to the heart. Lift the heart. Press into your thumbs. And then lower the head to meet the heart. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste. Have a great weekend.